Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is. Glad you're here. So, doing our next one in this little botanical, maybe field style journal. Not quite sure yet what we're doing, but we kind of have this color palette sticking with it. And we're going to do a little bit on the inside cover today. So I have some papers I pulled, some fabrics, and then some options for getting it glued together, except for I realized I forgot to grab a glue, but that's fine. We'll get that sorted. And let's do it. Hope you're having a great day. It's been a busy one here as usual. So this is still our tie enclosure, so I'm gonna set that off to the side. I picked these for inside the book here in a second. We already did our signatures last time, so I'm gonna set these off to the side. And I was looking around for some things. My studio is still a little, it's not put back together yet, so what do? You just keep on keeping on. So I have my cardboard here, and this is the inside. And what I'm thinking is this friend is gonna go on the inside on one, and the green, this nice kind of light green, I think will look good on this side. And then we can put pockets, something like that. And then I have this stripe, which could go either way. I think it looks nice up and down. It's in our color theme, otherwise sideways. It's going to be inside the binding in the spine, so we're not going to see a ton of it. It's just kind of a nice color. The other option is this piece that I have here. So that kind of sits perfectly, and we can line it up really well inside here. And I think that would look nice as well. So maybe this is the one we'll go with. We'll see once we get the other bits done. So first off, I'm thinking of having the cover itself be a little bit more streamlined and not as shabby as some of my other covers. So I'm going to try something a little different. I don't have all of my supplies like normal. I do have this double-sided tape, which I am going to attempt to see if it will work to get these edges down. So what I'm thinking, it is pretty sticky, it is double-sided, but I'm thinking if I line it up really well right along the edge, and I know a lot of other people use double-sided tape, maybe not this specific kind, but this is what I've got. And I'm going to see if it'll work. So first I'm going to trim my corners, and I'm thinking about putting some metal corners that I have hanging out on these. So I think that could be fun too. Now this, I may have had a different plan in the beginning when I started this cover. I don't know. I don't remember. It happens, right? So I'm just going to trim these corners, and we're going to just start rocking and rolling. And so this is going to go very well. Hopefully get these, and it's sticking. And what I might do is once I get the inside cover done, I might run it through the sewing machine afterward. And I think it'll be fine going through the tape. I haven't had issues with that before. So the other, I could glue it too, but I kind of wanted to see what would happen if I just used this double-sided tape. It is what it is, guys. We're gonna check it out and see what happens. Now this was a really thin section, but we are gonna put that paper over top of it, so I feel like that could be fine. The other option is later on I can always put another fabric border or something like over top of there. So we're just going to keep going. Now this side is really wide. I might trim this a little bit beforehand because that seems really wide, and it's wider than our tape. I don't know if you can see that. Oops, sticking, because that tape is sticking out on that side a little bit. So this is wider than our tape, so I might trim it down just a little bit before we do that, so I don't have a lot of bulk. So I'm just going to eyeball this a little bit. And I may have had a different intention for this. I may have been thinking it would have a flap to fold over. I have no idea. I don't remember. I probably started this journal, I would imagine, over a year ago. That is my guess. And it has just been sitting in the to-do pile. I am going to trim this one down a little bit too on the bottom. Can't see me probably right now, but I'm just going to give it a little bit of a trim on this side as well. Now, when we get to the inside of the spine, that might be an area we need to think about a little bit when we fold things over. That was not very straight cutting. And I clearly didn't nip threads before, but that's fine. I wonder if I even made these prior to when I started making videos. That is also a possibility. It is an option. That may have been a thing. All right, so now we need to think about inside here, because when you close journals, there's a tightness, so we might have to, and you can have some bulk happening in those corners. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to nip like a little triangle at each joint, just to add some ease into there, to make it a little bit easier to close and open. Trim these other corners a little before we get to that spot. Now, there are all kinds of precise tools and angles and things like that that you can do when you do these. I just do a slightly angled corner. It's kind of probably hard to see on here. So I just kind of angle it a little bit. Now I almost forgot which direction I needed to go. So toward the point, but just angle it a little bit one way and then the other. And then if you don't get it all, just give it a little boop. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Let's trim these friends. Little threads. Normally I would not care about it. For this one, I think I'm going to try and have at least the outside cover be a little bit more clean and streamlined, not like I normally do. So I may have already said that. I don't know. We shall see. Little nippies here and there. And then next, yeah, that's pretty good. Because I think what we'll do is we'll bring those, we'll do this side and that side, and then just keep on keeping on. So what I am currently using is a permanent Scotch double-sided tape. It is what I have on hand. So use what you got, right? Will it last forever? I don't know. Is it designed for fabric? Also don't know, because it is what it is. So that is going there. And then this is coming up. We're just gonna make a beautiful journal. And if stuff starts to get weird, then we fix it. We use some other adhesives and glues or whatever we need to do. We just do what we need to. It's totally fine. It's gonna be fine. I mean, this seems like it's wanting to stick pretty well, so just kind of give it a good smoosh. Probably could have got that tape a little bit more in the corner. It's totally fine. We are going to put something over top of it. Maybe we'll glue that. Maybe we'll do a tape and glue combination. Don't know yet. We'll see. Okay, so that side's good. Let's go ahead and let's just keep going on this section here. We'll just keep on going around. No, I want to do the sides first before I do the spine. So let's do this side next. I'm trying not to touch the tape too much either, so it doesn't get the oils from my hands and whatnot. Now let's do this inside bit. Oh, that was way too much. Biscuits, okay. Biscuits, I need about that much, like so. Because I really do want this to, so I'm folding this up so it pulls onto this, the edges like it normally would. So it's more closely sitting how it would when it opens and closes. That way it kind of keeps all the fabric in line of where it needs to be. So that's great. That's good. Good stuff. Okay. See, yeah, it's not wanting to stay. So now we know that was not the greatest tape in the world. It also might be really old. That is another true statement. Or it just needs another little smoosh. That's the other option. All right, but anyway, we're just gonna keep going. It'll be fine. If we have issues, we just fix them. And it's a learning process. Same here. So I'm doing that down there, holding this up, bringing that in. Perfect. All right, because really this just needs to hold long enough for me to get what I want to put on top of it to cover up these edges and make it beautiful. So it just needs to hold until we do that. That's all it needs to do. So let's get that done next. So now I have to be cautious because I do have tape sticking out and I don't want this to stick to it. So this is going to go right inside. So this is the more narrow side. So this is the side I really need to pay attention to. And I know it's going to be shorter in the middle, and that's okay. So I want this at about, so I'm going to mark it with the pencil. No strict, like I could measure it exactly, but I'm not going to because this might work much easier. But I am going to mark it on this side, I think, and see, because I'm going to take it to the paper cutter. Oh, but this is going on the back cover, so I do need to measure it for the back cover. Or I cut them both the same and we go from there. Let's do it. We're just going to cut them. Wish and a prayer. Wish and a prayer. All right, cut this. My paper cutter is actually set up right here on a little tray table. So, all right. And then this is going to go here. And this is going to go here. Why did I choose different colors? Because I'm shopping from my scrap bin and the scraps have got to get used. And I thought, it's a junk journal. Why not? It's going to be beautiful regardless. If it's different colors, it's fine. They're in our theme. So use what you have. Don't worry about it. Okay, this is exactly what we want to do. So now, do we tape it? Do we glue it? Do we do both? I think what I'm going to do, because this is going to go through the sewing machine. I think I am going to sew the edges around, all the way around. And it might be interesting because I have this really straight edge that's here already. So I have a line to go off of for this, and I can go on the outside of that line. So that's going to be, I think it'll be good. Might look different inside when we're finished, so it's totally fine. It's gonna be fine. So, but I do want to adhere it a bit. So I think what I'm gonna do is throw some double-sided tape on here in a few spots. So we'll put one down here. And we're gonna put one here. And we're gonna go here. We're gonna go, okay, we're going there. That's happening, that's fine. Perfect. Not exactly what I had planned on doing, but here we are. Trying to make it straight and not rumply too. I don't want to add any rumples. No rumples. All right, but I got a little rumple there. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And then, well, maybe something here. Okay, we're going. Committing. Why am I not worried about this? Because we're going to put that fabric down the center. So, and I want to make sure, ooh, this is centered. Okay, well, it is definitely wanting to stick to that. Let's turn this so I can make sure it gets centered this way, because I want it to be the same top and bottom. Same width top and bottom, so at least it looks pretty even, as well as the outside. So that is that. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good, and I am happy with it. And that is going to look super pretty and super sharp. So that goes there. Very different color palette from our last journal we worked on, right, friends? Whew. Toning it down, relaxing it, chilling out. Oh. I loved making that neon journal, I have to say. I did love it. It was great. But it was bright. Very bright for me. I'm sure those of you that watched it were already aware of my feelings on the colors. It was great. I did like it. It's a good challenge to work in colors that you're not used to working with. And I recommend doing that. Challenge yourself on colors. Make something in colors you don't like. Or, surprise, let somebody else pick your palette for you. Your color palette or colorway, whichever thing you want to think about. And then let's go in the center. I did way better getting these ones on here than I did on the other side. You know what we didn't think about? Closure. If I wanted to tuck that closure in to get stitched, I probably should have done it before I stuck these on. But I didn't, so we are carrying on. We will discuss a closure or think about a closure later. We have that piece of ribbon, but or lace. You are not straight. Maybe the paper wasn't straight. I don't know. Maybe the cover's not straight. That looks straight on that side. Are you going to be straight on this side? I think it'll be okay. It looks good. That's going to help hold that down too, and not stick out until I can get it to the sewing machine. Okay, so now in the center here, to reinforce our spine and cover up the rest of this, I could use paper, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use some fabric. And it is what I have. So I think this looks nice, and it has a nice, at least one edge is nice. The other one is not going to be, but we can cut it a little bit longer and trim it. So we have these nice lines, so that's what we're going to go with, and I'm going to try to cut along those. I believe that's what I'm going to try and do to make it. Oh man, that would have been the perfect width for the whole book. Why didn't I check that, you silly sauce woman? Okay, that's fine. Oh my gosh, that would have been absolutely perfect. Biscuits. Wow, Nance, amazing. I think it was because when I was looking through to see what I had that would look good, I didn't have that because, simply put, the edges were all different widths and stuff, so I didn't think it would be big enough to cover the whole thing. And now that it would have been absolutely the perfect size. Anyway, here nor there. This is the choices we have made, and that's what we got. So we're gonna go with it. I think if I cut this right down the middle of this section on either side, it will be fine. And then cut it a little bit extra. So I want this design because of the way it looks. So that's why it's perfectly wide, the perfect width to go through here. The other option is I use a plain one, but see how that, you can see through that more. Although the signatures are going to be there, so it wouldn't be terrible. And then we could save that bit for the outside. Let's take a look really quick. What if we did put that on the outside cover? That could be really pretty if we lined that up. That would have to be so perfect. When you ever have lines like that, they have to be really, really straight, at least for me. Otherwise, you know, it might be a little irritating and frustrating. I think I'm going to stick with my original plan and have it be on the inside here like this, because that spine is going to be pretty sturdy as is. And we might add some other stuff later on. Okay, so in the middle, that's what we got to do next. So let's cut that. I would normally use like my rotary cutter and blade, but they're still in a box, so I don't know where they are. At least I have a nice sharp scissors and eyeballs that are okay with me. So that was pretty good. And that is probably never going to happen again. Oh, Nance, you hilarious. I think it's nice because I think it's got a really nice grain line to it. This is probably a linen or something. Got wonky toward the end. We don't care because it's at the end. Now we have a finished edge on the top. We have rough edges on the inside. And I think we're going to leave them for now. So we want to take this down here. We're going to fold some under so we have a nice finished edge on the top and the bottom at least. So let's do that. So this needs to be about like so. Perfect. Perfect, she says. So this is what I'm gonna do. Do I want to put some tape down here? Probably. Let's do it. Let's just tape it. Ah, no. That could have been really bad. Real bad. So we're gonna put some tape in here on this side, and that's too long. Tape up the middle. Or I should say on the other side. There. Now the other thing too is that we are going to be putting our journal signatures in here too. So that's also going to stitch this down and reinforce it. So I'm going to sew it on the edges. So I'll probably sew it along the inside of the spine on either side, but we'll see. I might not. I might just leave this taped in the middle and just stitch on the outside edges, because that's, I've got those lines to go off of, and I think I want to kind of stick to them so that everything looks really even. So I'm going to probably use this as my guidelines on this side, and then you can see when we flex things, they're going to look different too. So we will see what happens, because it's not always about the inside all the time when you're sewing things. Now, which side looks better? This side, I think. So now we want to get this nice and straight. Maybe right about there. In hindsight, picking a fabric that wasn't so particular may have been more advantageous, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I have, that is the seam and that is the seam. So I need to pick which spot I'm using and hope that I did it on the same, the same. So I did just on the outside of that one, and it has to be right in the middle of that one, I think. This is why I'd rather do like grungy, shabby journals, because you don't have to be quite as particular. Crazy thought, I know, right? Crazy, crazy. I mean, that looks pretty good. Now, where's our folds? You know what? I'm really happy with that, so I'm gonna leave it. So that's good there. Now this we need to fold under though for our seam. Too much. Yes. And yes. Okay. I'm going to put a clip or something on that, I think, to hold that in place until I get to the sewing situation. So, come on, eep. There. And there. Now, do we leave a rough edge or do we tuck that under? I think, because it's going to be sewn way over here, I think I probably should have folded that under prior. But here we are. Let's use our line and fold it to that. Is that going to be too much? It is going to be too much. We'll go half the line. What will we do? Okay, that might be a problem for a different day. That might be a problem for future Nancy, not current Nancy. Definitely wasn't past Nancy's problem. She was totally fine with leaving a project to sit and not leave any notes for herself. Foofda. Okay, so where is that stitch line gonna be? That stitch line is gonna be right down here, right along this. So right in between here is probably where that stitch line is going to go. So I bet I could fold that to the spine. Yep, and it'll work. It will. So we're going to fold this to here, like so. As long as that gets tucked under there, put a clip in. See, I said it was going to be future Nancy's problem, but I'm not going to make it future Nancy's problem. Current Nancy's going to make sure it's not a problem. Good job, me. Tuck it, tuck it, tuck it. Okay, that's going to look really nice though. It's going to be worth it. I might hit it with my little mini iron. That I do know where it is because it's in my bag of my sewing project. haven't gotten a chance to work on it a bit, but here we are. Okay. I can finger press it for now, just to get that line relaxed. But that's gonna look really nice. Okay, now do the other side. To come up with a name for this. And maybe, let's look at this really quick though. What do we think? Do we still love this? Do we not love this? Do we have enough to wrap around and tuck? Do we just want to tie it on the side? Do we wait for later and not worry about that? I think that's what we would do. We will wait for later and not worry about that. Anyway, that is where we are at. We have put our signatures together. We've worked on our cover some more, and we will go from there. Next video, I'll show you how this is looking. What I'm probably going to also do is add a few little things to the cover, or talk about some other things with the cover, and start working on signatures, maybe start looking for some ephemera and things like that that can go into this front. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and leave me a comment. I love hearing from people, and you guys have a fantastic day. Don't forget, art with your heart. Bye.